Hello and welcome to the eSk8orDIE Night Rider mounting system instructional video. So let's get started here. Your kit should come with a eSk8orDIE mount. One will have this adapter here, which is going to be for the tail light, and one will come without one of these, but the hardware should already be installed. You'll have the nylock nut on one side, and you'll have a Phillips head screw attached. On this one, I usually have them already set in there for shipping so they don't get damaged. The other things you'll have in this kit are the tail light. It's waterproof and it can be charged via USB. These are going to come at either 50% or so charge, so I would recommend that you charge them prior to installation. Same thing with the headlight. So let's go ahead and open these. If you open them, you should come wrapped. This one's already one I just opened up. So in the kit you'll have these extra items here. This one's for a backpack strap. And this is a tool if you end up using this, which is a screw that you put through so that you're able to do it by hand. You don't really need this for it, but if it makes it easier for you, go ahead. And you also have a USB for charging. Next, I'll show you what's in here. This also has a USB, a manual, and a strap in case you want to put it on a bike or something. And obviously you're going to have the actual taillight. This one still has some battery life in it, but I advise that you charge them prior to use. So to get started, you're going to have to take off the trucks. I already took the liberty of making sure these are pretty loose already. In my case, I'm replacing mine because, as you can tell, I actually ride my skateboard pretty rough. And, well, I ended up breaking them out because they're not indestructible by accidentally hitting the throttle and slamming it into a wall. So now I'm going to have to replace it. Alright, so first thing you're going to do is take off the 4 nuts that you have here. You can use the T-tool for that. You'll need the 2 tools. I don't know if I mentioned it already, but you're only going to need a T-tool and a Phillips head screwdriver. Usually the T-tools already have a Phillips head right here, but I'd rather use one with a handle. It's much faster. So what you're going to do is you're going to take off the truck, set it aside, and then remove whatever riser if you have one. In my case, I use one of the defective ones. I've made about 30 revisions to these things to improve them over time, so yeah, this is you guys are getting the version 30 something. Some will have slots, some will have these. It just depends on if you're going to mount them on top or bottom. I've been having user feedback, and so far I've found these are more reliable. Alright, so first I'm going to show you how this works. I'm going to apply it on there, pretend this is the back of the board, and then once I do that, I'm going to take this off and then I'll show you how to install the headlight. Alright, so first you're going to just apply this to the actual bolts. You just have to push it on there. It's going to be a snug fit. Usually it's, if you're putting on the actual bolts yourself, it won't be this snug. But in my case, since I didn't really want to take off the bolts because there's grip tape, I just push them on. It's gonna go on my board anyways. Alright, so clean up the threads a little bit. Okay. Now, I could put this on there, but in this case it doesn't really matter. First thing you want to do though, since this is like this for shipping, you want to loosen this a tad, just so you're able to swivel it. So you just turn it just a little bit, and you should be able to move it back and forth. Let me close up on this a little bit, so you're able to see a little better what I'm doing. Okay, now you can see that this thing swells. Normally you want to put this pretty much like this, you know, straight, 90 degrees, 180, I don't know what you'd call it. I guess you do 180 from here, but 90 from the starting position. And then you'd want to tighten this down. You don't want to over tighten these because they don't really need to be. You can hold it down a little bit just to keep it from flexing. And then just make sure it won't move. It shouldn't move. You don't want to over tighten them. So after you have that, now you're able to actually put the truck on and install the nuts. But I'm going to save some time. I'll just put them on there loosely. Since this instruction video is more about the mounting, not so much about putting on some trucks. Alright, so now they're on there very loose, but they're on there. You get the idea? So now you got this, and it has this little notch here, and it meets up there. So what you gotta do is, rather than bending this little tab here, which I mean, you can move it to take it off, but to put it on, I usually don't even mess with that. I just put it in kind of make sure that I got the notches lined up, and then I kind of push it. And then once it's in a little bit like this, just push the rest of the way down, snaps right in. Done. It's gonna have a little bit of movement here. That's just the clearances that I put in there, so you're able to use different types. Some of these are bigger in other lights. If you end up replacing this with something else later on down the road, there's a little bit of clearance there because some of the ones have bigger notches there, so it'll still work. And to remove it, you just bend this back just a tad. You don't want to be too aggressive. You know, you can put one finger here, and just squeeze a tad, then move it back and forth, and it pulls right out. See? No problem. Usually the way that I want to mount this is you put the button facing up, you know, based on the orientation you have right now. So right now my skateboard's backwards. So if I'm putting this on the bottom of the skateboard, you know, this would be facing the ground. If you put it on the opposite side, obviously it'd be facing up. Just so you're able to see the button at any time. Alright, so that does it for the actual tail light. Now let's do the headlight. And for the headlight, I just have to remove the screw. You won't have to remove the adapter because you're going to be having one that already has that, but you still got to do this step. So you're going to remove the screw because yours is going to come pre-installed with the screw. You don't have to take off the adapter though, obviously. Okay, and then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put this on there. But you want to just push it on so that the threads line up here. I'm going to take this off my tripod really quick so that you're able to see what I'm talking about. Okay, now let's take a look here. You can see right there. Put on some light. There you go. You can put on. You can see that if they end up lining up or not. And if they don't, just move it around until it does. In this case, it doesn't yet, so I gotta just move it around. Just move it back and forth, and there it is, right there. Okay. So next, what you're gonna want to do is just place the screw so that it goes where it was before, and then you get the Phillips head and you just tighten it on there snugly. I like to hold and put my finger here just so I know when a screw is actually going through. It's going through now, and right now would be the time that you want to adjust the headlight. Usually if you have a truck that has an area here that protrudes, obviously you're going to just want to set it back until, you know, it's close to hitting or it actually is hitting. Just your preference. Once it gets there, then you just keep tightening it until it's tight. You want to hold this down just so it doesn't flex. You don't want to put any extra strain on the mount, the GoPro mount area. And once it doesn't flex anymore, then you're good. If you ever need to adjust it, you just put it on there and you do small turns. Maybe you do a 1/8 turn at a time or a 1/4 turn at a time. It's better to have it, you know, not too cranked down, just so that you don't put extra strain on it. But that's pretty much it. Now that you have the, you should have the tail light installed on the other side, and you have the headlight installed. You're able to charge them on the actual deck, or you can just take them off. Take them off, you just take off the screw, pull it out, and you're good. If you want to do it on the board, for the tail light, I usually just take it out. It's a lot easier. But for the headlight, if you want to and you're able to do the clearances, what you want to do is just, let's see if I can find the screw here. Just loosen it down a little bit so it's able to move. And then put it all the way out of the way. One side has a button, which is the one that activates the light. It has 3 modes: high, low, and a blinking SOS mode, emergencies, and then off. The other side will have a latch, and there's a little hole here, or a niche or whatever. You just pull it up, move this out of the way, you open this, and you'll see the actual battery there. There's replacements that you can get for these that you just pull out like this. You're able to replace these. And you can have spares, you can have a charger. When you do replace it, it's going to turn on, so you just turn it off, hit it 3 times. On this side here, there is a USB. It's a port. I can show you a better angle here by taking it off the tripod. There you go. And when you plug it in there, it's going to show, just like most USBs, it's going to show charging. I believe it goes red and green when it's done. And when you're done, you just close it back up, push the latch in here, and then it snaps right back on. And then you want to just put your headlight back where it was, and then you just tighten it back up. There we go. So there we go. Now you know how to do everything. So thanks for the support, and if you have any questions or concerns, just let me know. Enjoy your kit. Share this video with your friends, family, and anybody who enjoys skateboarding or electronic skateboarding. Or electric skateboarding, I should say. So thumbs up, likes, subscribes, and I'll see you later.